To me, enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. We won't let them hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. You won't bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough. They just wanna hurt us, bring us down, bring us down. Enough is enough.
Hey guys, welcome back to Indie Wrestling Corner with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host, as always, the queen of the indies, Tiffany. And today we got big trouble pretty much going on here.
We sure do. It's called Under the Ropes, even though I always go over the ropes. I don't think I ever go under the ropes. I don't think I ever gone under the ropes in my life. I don't think I ever will. But aptly named Under the Ropes. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much on the Indie Wrestling Corner. I can't. Yeah, you're kind of a celebrity in indie wrestling.
Oh my goodness, you said that to me. Like, you spotted me right off the bat. I
know exactly who you were. Hey, you're doing something right.
It's funny when it starts freaking out like the friends that hang around me, and they're like, through the years or whatever, I'll be walking at shows and wrestlers come up to me and they're like, I don't get that. I'm like, I'm special.
Indie wrestlers can unfortunately be such a small world.
Yeah.
So yeah. Everyone is connected within at least a few degrees. Definitely not 6 degrees, but probably less.
I love it. So thank you again for joining on here today. You know, we're gonna have it's gonna be a fun podcast. I know it already.
Absolutely, always.
Guys, if you're new here to the Under Rope series, here I interview everything independent wrestling, whether it's wrestlers, promoters, referees, backstage. I got you covered. If you guys got questions for Ben, feel free. Drop it into the chat. I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer all of your questions.
Anything you got.
Make sure you hit the like screen and the share and all that. Let's get some people in here. I already see people in the chat. Good Cop, Bad Cop's in here. He goes, not sure I can watch this after all. I forgot Ben doesn't think Die Hard is a Christmas film.
I don't. Okay, we'll start out with that. Okay, no, it's not. It's not, and I'm sorry. If it's going to lose a viewer, then so be it.
Oh, man.
No, there is Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. It just so happens around Christmas. If you want to call Die Hard, what did I watch the other day that was also centered around Christmas? Oh, I don't know if anybody saw the movie Carry On. It's new on Netflix.
Okay.
And he's working at the airport, and it's Christmas Eve. Okay.
Okay.
It's not a Christmas movie. It's a movie about a guy who wants to detonate a bomb on an airplane. Okay.
Okay.
That's what the movie's about. And the same thing with Die Hard. It's about a bunch of terrorists that want to come in and take over Nakatomi Plaza. So no, it just so happens that it's on Christmas. It doesn't mean it's a Christmas movie. So everybody, stop calling it a Christmas movie. It's a dumb argument. It's not. It just happens. It could have been a retirement party for the boss. It could have easily been that, and they could have came in for it. So just. It's not a Christmas movie. It just happens around Christmas.
I'm dead. Good Cop, Bad
Christmas themes in the movies. Good Christmas.
Good Cop, Bad Cops always start in trouble on this podcast.
Good. I'm happy we can get that out of the way to start with.
Coach C's in the chat. What's going on, Coach C? How are you? Love it. Love it.
Can I see this chat? Am I able to see it?
No, because I got multiple chats running. I got you. Okay. I read them out. Don't worry. I got you. You're gonna have to like log into each additional thing. Like I have one that has like a multi. So
you got it.
I got you. All right, let's start hot. Well, we already started hot, so let's continue the momentum pretty much. So
only way to start.
But let's talk about this because you're like known for like all the little videos that you're posted like on all the social. And it's amazing because I think every single person can relate somehow. It is, you know, whether it's a fan, whether it's a wrestler. Like I see, like even the interaction with like wrestlers and stuff. Like it's hilarious, you know. Like I think one of my favorite ones was one of the recent ones where you were up at the Beyond show. And the chair, you were like making sure the promoter knows that I'm putting my like 2 cents in pretty much. Like.
Well, here's the thing with these videos is like, I started doing them about a year and a half ago in like the middle of 2023 because I was just at the point where I'm like, I'm getting fed up with wrestling. Like I'm getting, like, I don't get it. I'm not having fun anymore at all. And at this point, so I was just, I gotta do something different, just to almost as like it just felt like almost like cathartic to me that I could just do like I needed something to make me not go crazy because this business will drive anybody insane, right? So I'm like, I always joke around with like other buddies about like the silliness of what professional wrestling is and just the carny aspect of it. Like, why don't I just put it into video? And I really just did it to pop myself. I'm like, I think these are funny. I'm laughing at my own videos like a dork, but like I'm like, these are great. I'm having fun with this. And then it just kind of started slowly catching on, and more people liked it. And I'm like, hey, could I get heat from it? Maybe, but like, you know what? Heat doesn't really exist. He doesn't exist like that. So if you're not getting heat, you're doing something wrong.
Right.
So then I just started doing them, and like, you know, and that exact one you're talking about is like, yes, we all see that. That's the thing. Like everybody's like, I see those type of people. And you said, you know, fans, promoters, wrestlers, they watch it, they relate to it. But also, I'm getting like indie musicians, indie comedians, and they're just like, oh, this is the same shit we go through too. all this, right? They, I think, just get paid a little more. But shout out to all the promoters. No, but so it's just all these little things that, like, you know, there's like that happen, and like nobody ever really calls it out. You know, everyone kind of just like it gets along to get along, but like I'm like, you know what? Let's have fun with it and do it in a way where I'm almost shielding myself because I'm not calling out people. I'm calling out the assholes in indie wrestling, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm calling out those people. Everyone's like, it's like, okay, you can't really give me shit. If you do, you're kind of outing yourself, asshole. So I get it's something to have fun with. You know, I'm like I said, I was getting bored. I was getting to the point where I'm like, I don't like this anymore. This isn't fun to me. And I was like, let's do something that maybe can make people laugh.
Yeah.
And you know what? It did. I guess it's worked. It's worked a little bit.
It has. It's like crazy, but it's made you notice pretty much. You know,
Seriously.
And that's what I tell people, like wrestlers, all the time. It's like you have to find some sort of niche, whatever it is, like, you know, so that people know you. And it just takes one click of a video that somebody else finds. I find wrestlers all the time because this wrestler shared this or a promotion shared this, and maybe I didn't find XYZ wrestler because I saw this or whatever. So stuff like that. That it's like these videos are amazing.
I think that is so important in wrestling is that we need to all, and it's so cliche and kind of corny to say, but like we really all do need to support each other. I think too often people are like, oh, I think that's good, but I'm not gonna like it or retweet it because I only like to retweet my own stuff.
Right.
And like I understand that, but like how is this gonna grow at all if all we do is just promote our own stuff? And like why not promote other people's stuff? Why not put other people over on it? It's like it's this weird like thing in wrestling where it's like, oh, don't put other people over, or don't be friends with anybody, like, you know, be cutthroat. Like, no, I don't want to be remembered as that person, as the guy who's like cutthroat and like burying people. Like I like to put people over. It just happened the other day to me. A wrestler, I'm not going to name his name, but like, you know, he retweeted one of my videos, and he just said, "This guy sucks so much," and he's a fellow wrestler, you know, he's in a state not too far from me. And then he says, "I'm not being quiet anymore." And first of all, I was very close to being like, "You're so courageous." Like, oh, you are brave, buddy. You're so brave. But all I did was like, you know, even that I just retweeted his highlight video. I'm like, even though this guy thinks I suck, I think he's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, check out his highlight video. You know, and then he's like, oh, well, I didn't. I'm like, no, you just did that because you saw a few people ragging on a video I made and you wanted to jump on it. I'm like, I know why you did it, but it didn't work the way you thought it would. But that's what I mean. It's just like, why do we have to like bury each other? Why don't we try to like, you know, retweet and like and try to grow wrestling? And like you said, all it takes is a click of a button on your phone nowadays. You can put something out to everybody.
Right.
More people can see a video than they'll watch products on TV.
Right.
So it's like, why not try to get yourself over in a different way instead of just doing 1 or 2 shows a week? That's what I think.
It's crazy, right? Like, I have been podcasting for a long time. I was doing AEW stuff like before, and I just always felt like I'm dedicated completely to the indies here. Completely dedicated. I am not a mainstream girl anymore. Like, I'm all indie. Okay. Mm-hmm. So the thing is like, there's a bunch of people, like, they love WWE, they love AEW, whatever it is. Cool. That's you, but it's like, that's fine. Like, I'm not going to sit here and knock you for it, like, you.
And that's so great that you're dedicating yourself to, like, the indies, because there's just so much talent, and every single person that goes to a show, like, I have not many of my friends, really almost none of my friends are wrestling fans, but they'll support me. They'll come to shows. My family, same thing. They're not wrestling fans. They're not going to go to, but every time they go, they're like, oh man, you were great, but like, that guy was awesome. Like, that guy was really funny. Like the Rad Pro show we went to, they got a kick out of, oh my God, the name's escaping me right now. But the family with all the kids. Right?
Oh,
Milo Mira on the podium.
BMT
Yes. But like, they get a kick out of them, and then they get a kick out of Milo, and they're just like, oh, this was so fun, because it's like intimate.
Yeah.
It's like you're right there, and like, there's a lot more crowd engagement. Like, we're not playing for the TV, we're playing for the crowd in the room.
Right.
So I tell, and like, there's just, every time they go, they're like, that was a great time.
Yeah.
On Thanksgiving, my cousins, their boyfriends, like fiancés, my dad, my uncle, they all came to Wrestling Open.
Right.
And they were just like, that was, like, that wasn't what we were expecting to do on Thanksgiving night, but that was so much fun.
Right.
And because it's just a different type of entertainment that no one's used to. So I think, like, having people that are dedicated to watching the indies and want to actually promote the indies and not look at it as like, you're a loser because you're an independent wrestler, which too many people think.
Right.
I think having that is just so important. So kudos to you. It was a long way of me saying thank you.
Thank you. gotta pay it forward, as I always say, like in the wrestling. But as I always say, it starts in the indies, and we have WWE ID going on now, and then you see all the people that have gone to like AEW or wherever it is that they've gone, Japan, like Alex Zane, has been on this podcast multiple times and stuff. They started somewhere, and then they get signed. And then the people that aren't watching the indies, and then they could come back and watch the interviews, is like, hey, look, Nick Wayne's been on this podcast. Like, let me learn about Nick Wayne before he was on AEW. So we start here pretty much. So let me give some love in this chat. Let's see what we got going on here. Joe's in chat. He goes, oh, snap. I just wore your son never sets on a cool guy shirt post-workout, awesome. And you're on Tiffany's show. Coincidence.
I'd love to hear that. That's a comfortable shirt. That's a very comfortable shirt. It's an older one. All
right, Good Cop, Bad Cop says, serious question. With Ben saying he might not be on Twitter soon, where's the best place to keep up with all the great content?
I'm gonna always be on Twitter, so I don't know why that wasn't that. Yeah, I'll be there. But really, with me is I accidentally deleted TikTok, so I no longer have access to my account because I can't get it in the App Store. But really, I'm all. And it's so funny because we talked about this before we went on air. Is that like social media is so weird? On like some social media things blow up, and on others it does nothing. Right? So like I've done really well on Instagram and Twitter, but like I can't figure out YouTube, TikTok, or Facebook at all. Right, and it's just so funny. And like another guy who does videos similar to me, Jack Vaughn, a buddy of mine, he does great on TikTok, he does great on Facebook, he does good on Instagram, but not like those two. Right. I do a lot better on Instagram. So I don't get this algorithm. I don't get how it works at all.
I don't know. Help us all. Let us know if you have the secrets.
I know people like try to figure it out. They try to figure, and like they think they like, oh, you posted this time with this caption. Make sure you have this there, and then you have to have the heading here, not over here, but. Like you have to face the camera and it's a good thumbnail, and like they have all, but it's like then you do those things and it's like, oh, but now actually it's this. It has to be here instead of over here.
Right. I don't know what I'm doing most of the time.
No, you just gotta throw shit up and see what sticks to the fan.
Yeah. That's got to be like the key pretty much. So
That is, it's consistency is key. That's it.
definitely. All right, let's go back to Rad Pro because you brought up Rad Pro. So I always
the
give
best.
love to Max Smashmaster. Like he's been on this pod. I say it every podcast. If you're not watching Rad Pro, what are you doing? Like
The best guys. Like if you haven't watched Rad Pro Wrestling, it is unlike any independent wrestling that you'll watch. It's all gimmicked up. It's a blast. I tell everyone if I could wrestle as Bob Furio every single night and not be Ben Bishop anymore, I think I would, because it's the most fun I ever have. And I've the match I've had with Kathleen and then Mark Sterling, as just they were too fun. It was like too much fun, and I just love it. Rad Pro is unbelievable, and you got to watch it. You got to. There's nothing. I will sing their praises till the day is long. Like they are unbelievable, and what Max does there. So like, no, I love it. Love Rad Pro.
yeah, it's just fun. I mean, we just had Milo Mera on last week, and Milo had praised it too. It's just so much fun.
Not everybody, because we're all like, because nobody's taking themselves. That's another problem. And here we go. I'm going to vent again. But a problem with wrestling is some people just take themselves too serious, right? And so shows become, it's like, nah, brother, I'm not taking that move. I'm not doing that. Right? And then all of a sudden things become contentious.
Right.
Whereas like Rad Pro, it's like, we're all a joke.
Right.
This is a joke. Like, so we're having fun. And everybody just the whole time we're laughing, cracking jokes. The matches are all silly, but it's all people who can perform. At the end of the day, that's the number one thing we got to do is perform. We're not worried about having a 5-star match. We're worried about just being entertaining.
Exactly.
And being characters. And that's why, and that is my favorite part of wrestling. That's why, honestly, Rad Pro is my favorite promotion. The favorite promotion I work for is Rad Pro. I wish I could be at every show, but we try to make it work as much as possible.
Absolutely. So shout out to him. So the next question we're going to go on in because I feel like it just rolled off with it or whatever. And I just tagged Greg, so maybe he'll pop into the chat. But we have to talk about the fans that made that big Bish sign. So shout out to the South Coast sign crew. So
yeah.
I
was genuinely popped when I walked through the curtain and saw that. I was like, whoa, look at that. That's a huge fish. I loved it. I got a kick out of it. So thank you for bringing that. That made my night. That was really awesome to have a sign there, especially at a place like Beyond, one of the bigger shows of the year. Yeah. That show was unbelievable. And I'm not really a big deathmatch guy, but man, Mathers and Cruel, we were all the boys and gals backstage were popping for that one. So that was incredible. Great night. But yeah, to have a sign there, I thank you. I appreciate that.
They're a whole crew, man. It's crazy. It's insane. I see them over at Fight Life. I saw them, again, between they were there for Rad Pro and Beyond and stuff like that. So it was just a good time. So, and just to expand a little bit more with Beyond for, Heavy Lies the Crown and everything. And that, that's such a important, New Year's Eve tradition. I've been up there before, or I've watched it in my house and everything. And then you and CPA got to work. So shout out to CPA. Yeah. We love
shout out to CPA. We had our specific match. We weren't doing the technical classic or the high flying or the death match. So we had our specific match on the card to have. And I think it went over great. We had a good time. I didn't come out the victor, but it's all right. CPA's a good dude, so I won't be mad at him. I won't hold a grudge.
I love that. So shout out to CPA. He's such a good guy. But that was just fun. So I'm glad we got to meet that also too. Absolutely. So that was cool. So I wouldn't be the indie queen pretty much if we don't start talking about other promotions, right? That it's okay, here's the girl from New York. No, the girl from New York keeps tabs on a lot of stuff. I keep tabs on Germany. I keep tabs on stuff like that. So we're going to talk about down south pretty much. Okay. So we have to talk about Southern Honor Wrestling. Okay. All right. And I have to talk about, shout out to Matt Griffin. I always praise him on every podcast and everything. So he got to do
too much. His head's already a little too big. Don't give him too much credit.
Wait, should we tag him? Should we tag him to come in here and make his head a little bit bigger?
He's doing a good job, but we're gonna let's keep a little level headed.
Okay, that's it. That's all you got pretty much. So, and I was talking about this match with my friend Zach, the one that you met. That he was oh, the podcaster, the TikToker know each other pretty much. So, so I said to Zach, This, I wish that me and him were front row for this match, because we would have been so loud for this match because of all the choke slams that was going on in this thing. Because me, and we're going to talk about Trayvon Jordan too, because this had started on my podcast for the whole choke slam championship. I have a physical belt in my house and we haven't crowned it yet. Okay. Which needs to happen. But, and it should probably just be you and him, like, honestly. But me and Zach we would be wilding out for this match if you and Cruel. So, let's talk about that.
You know, he's Cruel, obviously a big guy. And I don't know how much I want to say about Cruel because I don't want to kill Cruel's gimmick. But, you know, I will say, one of the best big men on the indies by far, hands down, and truly one of the. Again, I hate to kill his gimmick. He's a great guy. He's a good guy. He's a good guy.
You're killing kayfabe. You're killing
I know, right? Yeah, it's not already dead and buried, 20 years over. But no, you know, I love working with him. You know, sometimes big guys have problems working with each other because egos. We call it big man heat in wrestling. I'm sure many of you have heard that. I think it's the silliest, dumbest thing in the world. I come from basketball. I played Division I basketball. I was always big men around me. There's no heat. You know, you compete, and you work, and you try to get your spot. Yes, but you don't bury each other. You don't do that. So no, he believes in that same thing as I do, and he's helped me out a bunch. He's put me over to promoters and really given me let them know definitely should book me. You know, I think me and him are a perfect match against each other just because we're two total opposites. You know, we're both big guys, but like personality, you know, I can't do the monster thing. And he's not as handsome as me. So we're much different. Now he has to wear a mask, you know. So, but no, I think I just put him over the match against Marcus. Those two worked their asses off, and and again, I'm not a death match guy. Nothing against it. I'm just not as like my type of match that I usually would turn to. But I was, on the edge of my seat that whole match. They did a great job. I think I'm happy. Over the past few years, how many places he's gone, and what the Cruel gimmick's done for him, and so I wish him the best. He's great. I would work him every night too. We had a really fun match at Southern Honor. We meshed well together, got good chemistry. So yeah, I'm a big Cruel guy.
Now I feel like you guys should tag team together, and then you can go after the IWTV tag team belts, pretty much like.
Yeah, who has those?
Fresh Air.
Fresh Air. That's right. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna do that.
So, shout out to Fresh Air, but I'm here for that. Zach's in the chat. He goes choke slam.
Yep. And I think we're gonna have to have a tournament sponsored by the podcast for the chokes. It could be a 4-man whatever, we can have the choke slam championship.
This needs to be crowned. I was talking about this with Trayvon the other day. Like, I was telling him that promoters were reaching out to me, and I was like, well, it was I gotta redesign the belt actually. So I gotta do that within the next couple of months, because there are a couple of promoters, but it's kind of dedicated to one promotion. But I want to make it a universal podcast belt.
Yeah.
So I need to do that. Then we can have it, and then all the promotions could take over for this chokeslam championship.
That'd be great. And I think I think it would be me and Trayvon at the end. I think that'd be a good finals for the championship. Trayvon, another good buddy.
It'd be even fun if we throw Bryce Donovan in there too, because we started that with him too.
Bryce, he's tall. No, Bryce is amazing, by the way. I think Bryce is one hell of a wrestler, but he's considered a big guy, and I'm like, okay, to most you're a big guy, but we can throw Bryce in there. That's fine. I'll throw Bryce.
I'm down for whatever. Zach's in the chat. He goes, as true giants are a rarity in wrestling, who are some of your favorite big man going today, and who are some inspirations for you in general?
Okay, so I mean, if you can't tell by now, but by just my basic ass moveset. Moveset. I said moveset. Basic ass moves. Kevin Nash is my favorite wrestler ever. That's how I got into wrestling, is seeing him on TV and being like, who's that guy? That guy's cool as hell. No pun intended. So he's my favorite. Sid, obviously one of my favorites. So those are two of the top guys. DDP, an inspiration of mine. He started a little late, but he started later as well, into wrestling. But even as a kid, like, his charisma was off the charts. So I was a big WCW guy, if you can't tell. I like WCW over WWF when I first started watching. And I was a big Jeff Jarrett guy. Still am, and still good buddies with Jeff. But today, like, my current inspirations, I think right now my current favorite wrestler is Gunther, by far. Now he's the Bryce big guy. He's not super tall, but he wrestles like a big guy. No, I love Bryce. He's a good dude and a great wrestler. But he, I would say him, and because it's definitely a rarity, as you said. Back in the day, there were a lot more. There were a lot more big guys. It was definitely. It was the apple of one we don't name anymore, is were the big guys. So so it's a little bit different now, right? Like, and that's, the good and bad, pros and cons to each, of course. Con to me, because I think I would have a job if it was 1995, but hey, it's okay.
But you do as Rad Pro 1995.
I do. Yeah, there you go. So I think that nowadays, I like to get a little bit from everybody, check a lot of people out. I love, seeing like guys like Dijak innovates a lot, can learn a little bit from him, take a little bit from each person. But I would say, no, if I had to pick one, it'd be Gunther.
Love that. Let's see what else in the chat. Well, Zach also said, with the amount of people in this Chokeslam collection, I think 8 could be done easy. Well, yeah, like, this has been such a thing, the Chokeslam Championship. I need
let's name them out right now.
Okay. So me. So how, just so you have a story behind it or whatever like that, it started on the pod, and it was, I had Dante Drago. I don't know if you're familiar with him, like, Create a Pro student. Okay. Like, he was on he's little, right? Small, little, whatever. And I was doing a podcast, and Trayvon came in and he said that he was going to chokeslam everybody, including me, which started a whole war between him and Dante or whatever. So the match was Miracle Gen, Waves and Girls, Vlogbro University. And there was this spot that happened that everybody was getting chokeslam. So it started with that. So it was pretty much Dante, Kylon, Trayvon. All right. Then Bryce Donovan inserted himself into it. So now if you watch his matches, he's constantly, so I take full responsibility of the choke slams that goes on with that. It's crazy. Who else was in this, Zach? Like, every time somebody does a choke slam, Zach takes a picture with them. So that's why he did that with you. Okay. So it's the thing.
Right, well, I got it now. Okay. I'm trying to think of right now who we could name off the top of my head. So me, Trayvon, we'll throw Bryce in there, we'll throw Cruel in there. That's 4. Who else we got?
Dante wants in, probably. Kylon.
All right, sorry, throw him in. Now we're just throwing everybody in. Okay, now that's not special anymore.
That's what happened. It became so big on this that it just, I'm going like blank right now.
A good one, say it. But it has to be a big guy. The person has to be over 6'5".
We're putting restrictions.
Let us have something.
Okay. We're putting
the choke slam sacred.
Okay, let me read more questions in the chat. John says, favorite ring announcer to announce you in the ring. Oh, that's a good one.
Ever? Or to announce me?
Yes.
To announce me?
Yes.
I mean, I gotta say, and there's some great ones that have, and I apologize to anybody that I miss. Rich Palladino's great. I would say, Cameron Michael, another one who's really good. Cameron's down here in Georgia, but there is one in Georgia who I put over all the time, and it's Diana Michael, and she's incredible. She makes everything sound so much more important than it is. I tell that all the time. You make me sound so much more important. The whole team at Southern Honor actually is really great. Everybody, even the commentators, are terrific as well. But yeah, I'd say Diana.
Love that.
She's terrific. She has a lot of the Georgia shows. She's all over Georgia.
I love that. You see that like on the Southern Honor show pretty much. So, all right, let's see what else we got in here. Dom's in the chat. He goes, ask him what his favorite book.
My favorite book?
Yes.
Oh man, I gotta read more shit. The
little engine that could.
At this point, I'd say like Holes. Like back in I don't know if anybody's old enough. I read it in 6th grade. No, I didn't. 4th grade. Yeah, I read Holes.
I'm done.
And there was definitely another one after that I liked a lot. If I can remember it. Boy, I really gotta read more. That's embarrassing. Yeah, I'm reading a book right now called Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It's pretty good. So I'm taking forever to read it, but I'm reading it.
There you go. Add it to the list. I gotta
put down my Nintendo Switch. I'm crushing it in NBA 20 in 2K24. So. But I'm trying. Yeah, that's important too. I'm good at that's my favorite video game right now, so you can put that down.
There you go. It's funny. So Zach put in the chat. He goes, he got the 8 for you. He goes, you, Bryce, Trayvon, Dante, Little Mean Kathleen. She does throw a choke slam.
Yeah, she choke slammed me actually at Radbro.
Mike Grasso, Cruel, and Dijak. He said, "There's your solid 8."
All right, yeah, I'll give Dijak the rubber. So I'll do the job to old Dijak.
Little Mean Kathleen's winning this, right?
I know. We all
you know what? Let's throw Microman in there too.
I can't. Yeah, how? Enough how?
We're gonna get him a ladder. That's it, and it's gonna work.
I couldn't even choke slam him. He is a small guy, and I saw him stand next to Cardone, and I was like, whoa! I never really noticed. Yeah, what a cool! I think it's great. I think it's amazing.
Come on, it'll be a great match.
Stuff he can do is very impressive. I will say he's a very impressive guy.
Now we're putting it out there. You have to wrestle Microman. It's just
I've done that. I've done that once. I have wrestled. Have you ever seen Little Papa Pump?
No.
He's a Georgia guy.
Oh,
he's a Georgia guy. Yeah, he does like the micro wrestling stuff.
Oh,
yeah, I wrestled him at Wrestle America here in Georgia a few years back.
Goodness.
I was just like, that's when I finally knew. I'm like, we are a circus act. That's all we are. Just one big circus act.
I love that. Okay, Joe in the chat says, what's your favorite Invictus match? My favorite was against Big Game Leroy when you came out to the Super Mario 64 music, and I had a sign saying Ben Bishop is just a side mission.
That's a good sign. No, I came out to the Bowser theme song because because I had to be the bad guy.
Right.
I also wrestled TKO, and I came out to Eminem's Venom.
Right.
Like the Venom theme song. So I like to do that. That's fun, right? You know what happened with both times though? The mask broke right before I walked through. I was so pissed. Both masks, my Bowser mask and then also my Venom mask, the tongue ripped off. I was so mad. It happened twice. No, but my favorite match there, I think honestly, it's gotta be Leroy. I really enjoyed that match. I think the world of Leroy. I think everything he does is tremendous. Sticks to his, like you said, you got to have a niche, and he has one.
Mm-hmm.
And he does an awesome job with it. I loved Invictus. I wish Invictus can keep running. One of my favorite promotions that I've worked for. So I'd say Leroy, and then also the one against Chris Muljo, where I won the social media title. That's a close second. So both of those matches I thoroughly very much enjoyed. Great people. It was a great company over there at Invictus. Hopefully they can come back one day.
Yeah, shout out to Alex. So it's so crazy.
Alex, the whole team.
Yes, love that. Leroy was my second interview of Under the Ropes, which is crazy.
He's a good one to have.
Yeah.
He's a good one to have.
So,
he's just one of the kindest people in wrestling too. Really good guy.
We love him. All right. Well, this we got to talk about because I know this is gonna pop. This is gonna pop Zach in the check. We got to talk about Shannon Levangie, who is known for the troublemaker, right? So
I've heard this.
Do you have to? We have to have the match for like the legal rights to the name.
Right to the troublemaker. I just say troublemakers are my fans. I don't ever call myself a troublemaker. I just say, I have heard that. I think Becca pointed it out, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize. I hope I'm not stepping on toes here. Isn't the troublemaker name? But hey, we can have the match for the use of the name. Troublemaker on a pole match. Just put someone up there.
Well, she likes to jump from high, just so you know.
Well, I can reach high.
So like when she jumps, you grab her for the choke slam.
Yeah. Oh, we're already booking the match. Yeah, that's what we'll do. And she can choke slam me because who cares, right? Doesn't matter. Nothing else matters. So Kathleen's already choke slammed me. Nothing matters.
Can't. I'm done. I can't. I need to book a show. Like I would have a great show. I would just probably.
I was just telling you, don't do that.
Don't do it.
Just
but it would be fun. I'd probably be in the back, like pissing my pants, like at certain things. But like,
how it should be.
It just be a fun time. Like I feel like Sean Henderson. We love Sean Henderson on the show. He's one of the promoters that I really enjoy going to the shows and just watching him be part of it in the sense of like sitting with the fans and enjoying
interesting
matches.
I don't see a lot of promoters do that.
That's cool. Like I would always like when I used to.
Which company?
Sean Henderson Presents.
Sean Henderson Presents. Simple. There you go.
Yes.
All right.
So
it's like Tyler Perry.
So yes, he's great.
Did something right.
So SHP. SHP. I love that. So shout out to him. It's like I always say that, and when I've gone to his shows, I've taken photos of him. Like sitting watching it.
Hope they don't catch him like watching like, oh god.
No, you see the pure like he books just fun matches that he enjoys, that he wants to watch. So watching him, I get a kick. I should be watching wrestling and I'm watching him.
Hey, you know what? That's more motivation for the guys and gals in the ring to do something better. So
yeah.
If you want to watch the promoter in the crowd, then I don't know. Gotta pick it up a little bit.
I enjoy that. It's just like it's special. Let's do some fan tweets here. So we got one from MGB Graham. He said, Mason and I saw you wrestle in Hagerstown in 2021. And at the interval, we chatted some Red Sox as they were in the playoffs. How are the 2025 Red Sox going to do it? It seems like to this Brit, FSG are more interested in purchasing the Celtics right now than spending on the Red Sox.
I understand why they'd want to purchase the Celtics. They're in a lot better situation than the Red Sox. Red Sox last few years have been pitiful, tragic, just god awful. So I haven't paid too much attention. And that's a bad fan. That's a bad fan. I'm really all in on the Celtics right now, as I've always been. Celtics are always my top team. But I don't think any faith this year, pal. I think we have another year of rebuilding ahead of us, and not like they're making many moves. So it looks like we're right back where we were. Not gonna just we're okay with just below mediocrity at this point because they're making money. They don't give a shit. They make their money.
I love that though. So shout out to MGB Graham. So thanks for the question. Then we have another one for you saw these on Twitter or X whatever from Good Cop Bad Cop. So we'll do the first one. Hashtag Good Cop wants to know, with Big Trouble being an anagram of Turbo Village, which wrestlers runs their mouth the quickest but is utter nonsense? And he told me that I can't make you back down on this question.
Well, me. I mean, I'm the most unserious wrestler of all time, and that says a lot. So number one is me. I talk way too much. I'm chronically online, which sucks. I want you guys. One of my favorite shit talkers, and I don't know if anybody's seen him, but August Artois, and you guys got to follow this guy because he. Okay, you know.
I know. Yeah.
You know. I mean, he is. Talk about running his mouth to the point where you think it's nonsense, but the guy keeps going. He's unbelievable at it, and it's always a kick to see him on Facebook. I love it. I love what he does. But many people he rubs the wrong way. But hey, like I said, you're not getting heat, doing something wrong. So he's figured it out.
Love that talking about him and all that fun stuff. So hashtag Bad Cop wants to know, to the nearest 50, how many opponents in promos for matches against you have threatened to bash the Bishop?
You know what? It's not exactly that, but like so many people say like, and I'm going up against Big Trouble Ben Bishop, and you're the one who's going to be in big trouble. And I'm just like, oh, you're just lazy. Like, yeah, say something else. I've gotten that a lot. I haven't got bashed the bishop, but I've always got and you're going to be the one who's in big trouble. And I just, like, come on, guys, be better. You got to do better. You got to do better. That's low hanging fruit stuff. Like, let's, come on. I would say that one.
There you go. Another fan tweet from Dave. He goes, what's something you want to use in a wrestling ring but haven't yet? Ooh.
Something I want to use in a wrestling ring. A signed contract. I want one of those. So that's number one on a clipboard. Yeah, maybe I can use the clipboard after to hit somebody with it. If that's what you mean by this question. But something fun, like what would I want to use? I get a kick out of just like oversized novelty items. So I just think it'd be funny with my gimmick if I had anything that was just like hysterically oversized. Like if anybody's ever seen the Celebrity Jeopardy where Norm Macdonald plays Burt Reynolds and he's got the big oversized cowboy hat. It's just funny. It's oversized. It's the stupidest humor, but it's just funny. It's big. It's oversized, right? It's funny. So I just want an oversized of any item. Just like how funny would it be if it was just an absolutely comically oversized chair, you know? Yeah, so like you just wait, just like okay, like who sits there, you know? But it just looks enormous. So that, yeah, just a comically oversized item. Anything. Name me one. You name me one, pal, and I'll use it. I'll figure out how to get it.
I feel like this could be done like easily at like Rad Pro, like easily.
Oh yeah, just something just ridiculous. You know, it's almost like Al Snow had head. I just have a giant giant mannequin head. That's what I want to use, a giant mannequin head. Find me one of those.
Good Cop Bad Cop says, as he can't see the chat, I was wondering if he might pick Vam Williams, who he wrestled with Voltage Wrestling.
Would I pick Vam? Oh, wait, what was the question again about Vam?
Yeah, what was the question we were talking?
I wrestled Vam.
Yeah.
I was at ACW, though, Adrenaline Championship Wrestling. I don't think I wrestled Vam at Voltage. Did I? No, I didn't. It's okay. They're both in like the Maryland area, so it's all right.
There you go. All right, so here we go. We're bringing back an oldie but goodie on this podcast. Craziest thing a fan's done to get your attention.
At a show or online?
At a show.
At a show to get my attention. I mean, I don't know about nothing. No one's done anything like crazy, I would say. Nothing that really sticks out. I mean, that's a huge Bish sign got my attention really quick and like made me break. But I don't know.
No?
Yeah, I don't think anyone's done anything that's like super where I would just be like, wow, I really remember that. You know, I mean, like kids will run up and like, you know, they'll ask a million questions and never buy anything. I blame the parents. So that's you know, they'll run up, grab my attention, but no, nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for that. Nothing crazy has happened. Now online, if we want to talk direct messages,
give it to us.
Yeah, I've had a lot of weird requests. So I've had a lot of people ask for sweaty underwear, sweaty socks. Yeah, ladies, this happens to us too. So, you know, I just want you all to know we get it too. I've had some weird requests. The weirdest one happened a few months back, and because it started out like this guy was very normal,
Mm-hmm.
and he was just like, "Hey, you know, I saw you online. I saw your match in Rampage. I thought you were great. I thought it was really entertaining, and I started following you, and I see all this social media stuff, and you do such a good job." And I'm like, "Oh, thank you. Like that's really nice." And I reply to everybody. So I'm like, you know, thank you. I really appreciate that. And he's like, yeah, you know, I think and you started asking like very basic questions, you know, where do you live? Like, where do you work? How long you've been wrestling? So I'm just entertaining it, going back and forth. And he's like, you know, I'd love to wrestle you one day. And I was like, okay, like, are you a wrestler? He's like, well, no. Then it started, and then I'm like starting to get weird. So he said, no, I'm just, you know, I've trained a little bit with some people, and I wrestle around with some people every now and then. I just like to get in there, and I'm like, oh, okay, well, if we're ever on a show or near you, like maybe. He's like, well, would you want to like, you know, find a place? I'm like, for what? Like to train? I'm like, nah, man, I'm pretty busy, so like probably not. He's like, okay, well. You know, it could be anywhere. It can be like, you know, we can find a ring. You know, I'm in this state, so it could be either this state, you know, wherever you want to go, or we could just get a hotel room and trade holds. And I was like, wait, what? So I just stopped.
Oh my.
It's just like, what was the last thing you said? He's like, no, yeah, just get in a hotel room, me and you trade some holds, And I'm like, no, I don't know. I don't.
Oh my God.
And we're not gonna do that. I'm like, hey man, I'm not interested. And he kept going and going until I finally just kind of put my foot down. It was just like, hey man, not happening, like at all. Like it's never happening. Stop asking me.
Oh my.
And I got really mad because he kept going, and I'm just like you're not taking no, dude. And so ladies, I feel for you. That's why I make some of the videos that I do, because like that just happened to me once, and I was furious. I can't imagine. I can't imagine.
It gets bad.
So, yeah,
it gets bad. Like
I finally it put into perspective. I'm like, wow. Yeah, some of your girls and some of your DMs must be an absolute war zone.
The best is when you go to the shows,
yeah,
and then you get. I talk about this all the time that I get followed, and then I have to go to the wrestlers, and somebody has to walk me to my car. Yeah,
fellas, just don't be weird.
Yeah, like I'm cool. I'll chat with people. That's fine. Don't be following me around at shows.
Ugh.
So yeah. Good cop, bad cop in the chat says, Tiffany, you need to do something memorable next time you're at Ben's show so he has an answer if anyone asks again.
Yeah, I gotta need an answer. Yeah, sorry,
damn.
Sorry, buddy.
All right, Zach, we gotta plan something now. It'll be good.
Maybe someone's done something crazy. Maybe I just thought it was normal. I don't know.
I've had some crazy stories on this pod. I know Joey Silver had told a story how a fan gave him their baby. So he was doing like the Lion King as he came out during the entrance with the baby.
Okay.
Yeah, we've had some crazy stories. Boofa just told a story about a fan threw a hot dog at him. While he was getting at the top rope, and
whoa,
and it was full. Yeah. It was full with relish, ketchup, and all the fixings.
Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, no, that's not good. Not just the bare hot dog. He threw the whole thing.
Yeah, we've had some.
I thought he was a good guy. He's getting heat.
I asked him on the pod. I'm like, did you ask the fan why? And he said that the guy told him that he got excited.
Just tossing dogs.
So it takes a whole other level.
That's that guy's thing. Just loves to toss a few dogs.
A hot dog and a handshake, pretty much. Like
I guess you're just doing just playing the gimmick. So.
Yeah. So
thanks. Please, no one do that to me.
All right. So let's do another question dear to my heart on this podcast, Wrestling with Positivity. So is there anything that you could think of, something that maybe like a fan's done for you, you done for a fan, maybe a wrestler's done for you, or maybe you've done for a wrestler, anything that like we wouldn't know, unless you share the story?
Yeah, and like I alluded to this about just wrestlers like not wanting to put each other over to other people, but the ones that have, I really, will remember that for a while. Like, I started doing a lot of these videos because of Sam Adonis. So I'm working his show not this Saturday, next Saturday, February 8th in Pittsburgh. And he gave me the idea to start doing, and we never met. He didn't need to reach out to me. He just saw that, like, said, man, you got a lot of potential, this, that, and the other. And I think you could do a lot more. I think you do a lot. I think there's not many guys like you on the indies who are big, but also charismatic, aren't afraid to show personality. He's like, I think just something's missing, and that's when I kind of figured out the idea to just, put myself out there and do these videos. So I'll always like appreciate him for kind of giving me that, what he didn't think at the time was kind of a motivational talk, but he did. Of course, I mentioned Cruel. And everything, and the people that he's helped me get in touch with. Of course, working at Southern Honor as well as working at Beyond. I know Drew asked him, what do you think of this? Because Drew saw some of my stuff online, I guess, and asked Cruel. And Cruel could have easily said he sucks. I don't want another big guy around, but he didn't. He's like, oh, he's great. He's great. Yeah, you should send him up. So those are the two that really come to mind. Currently, and I always tell, another one that comes to mind who is unbelievably positive for the stuff that he's went through in his life, which I didn't know, and I got more of the story on New Year's Eve. is Ryan Clancy. So, and he explained his whole like mindset and his thought process, and that stuck with me since we've had that discussion on just a very cold walk to a 7-Eleven or wherever the hell we went, from where the White Eagle is, it's the nearest gas station. And I remember him telling me and his mindset about just being 4% better every day. And I don't want to butcher what he said to me, but I'm sure he would tell you. But the guy just stays so positive, and he's a hell of a wrestler, you know. But whatever, that doesn't matter as much. It matters more that he's a great guy and just spreads positivity. That's another one, Landon Hale as well. You know, guys that are just they're online and they're not spewing negativity, they're not bashing people. I love Landon, who just always puts out like, I'm proud of myself. And that's cool, you know, because a lot of times in wrestling, we're not proud of ourselves and we're pissed. And people let us know that we shouldn't be proud of ourselves, whether it be fans, promoters, other wrestlers, or, you know, quote unquote vets in this business that, you know, that they like, a lot of this business likes to keep you down. But guys like that, some of the ones that I mentioned that are willing to, you know, put a word in or are willing just to be positive and create a positive environment instead of always being negative. And I'm one to talk because I make videos about the negativity in pro wrestling, but there's a reason for it, folks. I'm trying to weed it out. And pop myself. Number one, that, but then two, I want to weed out the bad shit. So yeah, I think those are all ones that I would say are doing a great job. And nothing I mentioned was in the wrestling ring. I don't give a shit about the wrestling. I said that once, actually, everyone jumped all over me and when I took out of context, but I don't. When it comes to meeting somebody, I don't care if you're a good wrestler.
Yeah.
I don't care. It doesn't matter. If you be a good person, I'm going to remember that more. I'm not going to remember if you can have a 30-minute banger with somebody. And you know what? I'm going to remember if you were cool, good people, and someone that I could consider, you know, a friend in a business where you're not supposed to have them, right? So that's what I would say.
I love that. I love it. Shout out to all those guys. Clancy's been on this pod, and he's amazing. And we love it. Landon Hale. Landon's one of my closest friends. I talk to Landon all the time, so shout out to him. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Sure. And a legit doctor. There's not many of them.
Yes.
A legit doctor.
Love him. So I have two final questions for you. If anybody else has any questions, please feel free, drop it into the chat. So we just began 2025. What are some goals for 2025 for you?
Yeah, I've said to myself that I like to keep things like day by day at this point, where, you know, sometimes you get goals and I like to goal set, but at the same time, you know, if you try to put I don't like to always just put like a stamp on something where I need to do this by this point. You know, people have their vision boards and that's great. And you can do like that type of manifesting and all that stuff. And if that works for you, that works for you. You know, I like to kind of keep it day by day, keep doing what I'm doing. So I don't usually set too many goals. Obviously my biggest goal is I would like to give a contract this year. And work for a major promotion. That's always been the number one goal. I love the indies and I want to continue to work the indies, but of course I also want to make a living doing this. And folks, unfortunately, sometimes it's hard on the indies to do that.
Yeah.
Some people can do a great job doing it. You know, I'll shout out people like Effie, who have not been signed to a major promotion before and have come to the indies. But of course, even though that was the case for this person, he's done a great job reinventing himself, Matt Cardona. So people there is an opportunity to make a lot, but not at that point yet. So I'd love to get signed, get a little juice. That's my number one goal. But also, you know, I would say I want to just keep wrestling, and it's obvious thing. It's an obvious goal of everyone, but just keep wrestling good people. You know, the reason why for my videos, because I've worked a fair share of shindies. I've worked a lot of them.
Yeah.
And I just, you know, I don't want to waste my time doing that. I'm 34. You know, I have a life at home. I have my wife, my two dogs, other stuff. Like I said, I don't have a ton of friends who are wrestling fans. So, like, there's stuff that they want to do and I want to do, and I have a totally life outside of it, you know? So I want to make sure I get the most out of when traveling and work the best people, work for some of the best promotions, book me if you guys are listening. And that's really it. Like, really, and not just like good wrestlers. Like I said, good people. I want to wrestle good people. You know, and people that like take it serious, but also we're here working together. So that's really a main goal. Also, you know, I really want to get to the West Coast. I haven't worked on the West Coast yet. I haven't done like Arizona, California, Oregon. That's the third goal. I want to get out there.
Putting it out there. We're manifesting. We're
sure, yeah, if we want to call it that. That's the case.
We are. We're manifesting. We're putting it out there. So I love that. All right. So Good Cop, Bad Cop says, fun fact, Tiffany, did you know Nomi's husband's first singles win on AEW was against Ben? I did.
Whose husband?
Nomi, Gabby Forza, Bronson.
Oh yes, it was.
I did
his
know
first
that.
win, and it was against me. That's right. Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. Okay, so as I always like to end these interviews with the final question is, so we have fans, thinking about going into wrestling, maybe they're started training or whatever. What's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Well, first I'd say welcome to hell. But besides that, do you really want to do this? That was the first thing Kevin Nash said to me. I'll start with this, but he said this when I met him and I told him, I'm like, hey, I've gotten to wrestling because of you. Like I loved all your stuff. And he looked at me and goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And I'm like, of course, that's how you answered it. Just said, I'm sorry that I got you into this shit. No, but anybody starting, the advice everyone's going to say, and there's truth to this, so don't get me wrong when I say it, is about like, mouth shut, ears open, that type of thing, right? And there is a point to that, and you got to learn. There's a lot to learn in wrestling, a ton to learn, especially in your first 6 months. I think that's the biggest learning curve, because you learn how to bump on contact. You got to learn how to work safe. Another very important thing: keep yourself safe, keep your opponent safe, and you got to learn how to move your body in space. Falling down voluntarily isn't a normal thing that people do. So you got to learn how to do that, and it's very important to get all the basics down. Another thing, take your time. You're not going to have your character on your first day, so take your time. Figure out who you are. Figure out who, if it takes some time, you're fine. Don't get upset if you have to change things, because if you have to change things, people might not really know who you are anyway, so it's not going to be a big deal. I had that thing where I changed the name a few times, or mixed it up, and very early on. And I'm like, well, I already kind of posted it, and someone was just like, oh, it doesn't matter, dude. No one knows who you are. You can change it. Like, yeah, you're right. But really, the most important thing, once you get going, once you have learned basics, once you start working some shows, don't let anyone put you in a box, and don't let anyone tell you like you shouldn't do this because this isn't the way we do things. Plenty of people have told me like, and people I truly do respect, but people have told me like, why do you say 6'12"? Why don't you just say 7 foot? And I respect their opinion. I get it, because they're like, it's going to confuse people. And I'm like, well, you know what? A lot of people remember it. I remember it, and it's different. It's a little bit different. Right. And I respect your opinion. I see where you're coming from, but like, that's not for me. Right. And you don't have to take every piece of advice. Just because somebody has wrestled longer than you doesn't mean you have to take their advice. Respect it, but you don't have to take it. So don't that's always the problem I had. I took every piece of advice, and I just was like, because I just thought like everybody would have your best interest. Like when I was playing basketball, like I thought I'm going to listen to everybody, because, I'm going to listen to all my coaches. And in wrestling, everyone thinks they're a goddamn coach if they've wrestled longer than 5 years. So they try to give you unsolicited advice. Respect it. Be like, okay, hey, thank you. But you don't have to take the advice. So I tell people, just like, be yourself. Like if someone's telling you like, oh, that gimmick's not going to work. Hey, if you like the gimmick, do the gimmick. See what's going to, and try it out. And then maybe they're right. Maybe it doesn't work. And it doesn't, it sounded better in your head than actually doing it. But give some things shots in your first few years. You're not gonna get buried. No one's gonna care. As long as you're not doing anything like out of pocket. But you're not gonna. If you want to try a fun gimmick and see something that could possibly work, do it. I mean, hell, the guy out, Stephen Flo. Everyone's probably like, that's so dumb, dude. It's so dumb, and then like goes viral because it's just so funny. Milo with the pogo stick. It's like, oh, dude, that's dumb. Look at it, but people want to have fun. Look what goes viral. Yeah, what goes viral.
It's crazy.
Headlock takeovers aren't going viral. Like, look what people want to see. Like, it's ridiculous shit. So, like, have fun, man. That's at the end of the day, all we're here to do. All we've ever wanted to do. Like, since you were a kid, right? Yeah. And I say all wrestlers, because if you want to become a wrestler, I'd most likely, if you're not a D1 athlete recruited by WWE just because you couldn't do your real sport. Shout out. Sorry about that. So it happens. Injuries, because they're injured. They get injured. I got injured in college. I couldn't play anymore. Yeah. If you're not that, most of us, grow up loving wrestling. We just want to be wrestlers, and don't forget that. Don't forget that you're supposed to have fun. Only time you watched it because it was your guilty pleasure. You watched it you tried to watch it, you sneak watch it at night because your mom or dad wouldn't let you. It was your fun thing that you liked. You grew up loving these. They were idols of yours. just remember that. Remember the 7, 8, 9-year-old that used to watch it and just have fun. That's what I was going to tell myself. I always say, like, 8-year-old Ben would think 34-year-old Ben's cool as hell. Just because, like, hey, I'm wrestling. Like, whatever. If I get signed, I get signed. Great. If I don't, you know what? I got to do some cool shit. And I got some cool shit coming up. And that's alluding to my next thing, which we're going to promote some shows.
Yes.
So that was, that's my.
Wait, let me pause you for a second, because let me give love, because Thomas is in the chat. BMT. I guess, like he heard us. His
yes, I'm so
Spidey
sorry.
vision. His Spidey vision. He heard us like talking about him earlier, and then he appeared in the chat. So shout out to you in the chat. I love that. Thank you for coming on in here. So he said amen.
There we go.
There
we put you over, just so you know. We weren't saying anything bad. We put you.
No,
guys
we were
over.
saying awful things. What are you
Awful
talking?
things.
Don't
Horrible.
sweep it under the rug.
The drizzling shits. The drizzling shits.
I'm only kidding. This is a positive podcast. I'm only kidding. We're having fun. So yeah, let's talk about what you got like coming up here. You got some great things.
Some cool stuff. Yeah. January in indie wrestling's always pretty slow. Storms, all that shit. No one really likes to book too many shows. So I got to wrestle a younger guy, upstart. He's gonna do great stuff. He's signed to AEW right now. Elijah Drago. I got to wrestle him at Turnbuckle Championship Wrestling last Friday. Guy's built like a brick shit house. And I think he's going to do great stuff. So that was fun. I got something cool coming up. Added free shows, Top Guy Weekend. Conrad and his crew, Jarrett, Bischoff, those guys are going to be there. Jerry Lynn, some others. So we're going to wrestle at that. They have a cool little concept where their Top Guy subscribers for their podcasts get to book the show. So they get to choose the opponents and all that. So it's a cool little concept.
Love that.
So I got that. But what really, I have two really big matches that I'm really, really looking forward to. I want to shout out also Sam Adonis' promotion, Wrestle Rex. I'll be working there next weekend in Pittsburgh, the City Winery, Pittsburgh. But of course, I'm here in Atlanta on February 23rd, going against AJ Francis, one of the most interesting characters in professional wrestling, and he is somebody that I hold in high regard because he is really doing great stuff here on the Indies right now. And I hate to say that because talk about a huge head. My God. That guy loves himself. No one loves AJ Francis more than AJ Francis. But hey, it works for him. But then, of course, on March 21st at Adrenaline Championship Wrestling in Hagerstown, getting to wrestle Nick Nemeth. That's a match that people always say to me, like, who are two guys that you would love to wrestle, like, from any era? And I always say number one would be Bret Hart and number two would be Nick Nemeth. Now, of course, only one can still do that. So this is my top match that I've wanted to ever have, with a guy like him. I won't say like dream match, but because I never really used that term, but it is a match that I'm just elated to have because he's incredible. I've always admired him for what he can do in the ring. So March 21st in Hagerstown, Maryland for Adrenaline Championship Wrestling. And he hasn't worked like many like indie guys quite yet. Yeah. So I'm gonna be one of like the first guys that he's working this year. He's starting to do a lot more indies because he works guys on indies, but it's always names, right? He works other names. So this is, I think he's got a lot to give back to wrestling too, and I think he wants to, which is cool. So he's going to start wrestling more guys on the indies this year. He's having fun. From what I've heard, he's having a lot of fun doing it.
That's awesome. There's a lot of great talent out there. A lot of young talent.
There really is. I think the indies are in a great spot. I've seen a lot of BS online chatter about the WWID program. I think that's a great idea. I'm not being a grifter here, folks. I'm not in the program. I could easily be mad that I'm not in the program, but I'm not. I think it's awesome. I think everybody in it deserves to be in it in their own way. Shout out some really good people that I've met that are in it. Marcus, of course, Bryce, aforementioned, a couple of guys, Aaron Rourke, I think he does incredible work, character work, and he's really good in the ring. Zeta, of course. Yeah.
Ricky Smokes.
Who am I forgetting? Oh, of course. Oh,
Brad Baylor.
Of course, Brad Baylor, Smokes, Gal. Yep. Some really good ones. So no, they got there's awesome talent to start with. I know Aaron Roberts, I've worked with him in Memphis. Him as well, and Sam Holloway, a great big. You talk about big guys. He is a heck of a big guy. Yeah. I mean, hey, buddy, crack a smile though once in a while. But you're a hell of a talent, pal. He really is, and I like seeing big guys do well. We need more.
Yes,
We need more big men.
bring it so that like I could stand next to you guys. You guys could make me look skinny. I was like, damn. I was like, shit. I was like, I need to stand next to Ben like more often. I was like, I look skinny. Like I have a picture like years ago from House of Glory, and I met Kevin Nash at Razor Remote, and like I stood next to them, like, oh my god, they're so tall, like neck broke, and I'm like,
Kevin's taller than me, not many. I'm taller than Kane, but Kevin's he's legit 6'11". He's legit 7 foot.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I was like, you could just stand here, make me look skinny. I'm here. So it's like I gotta have to pay you guys just to stand next to me so I look good.
I'll gladly do it. I'll gladly do it. Come on.
Gotta have some laughs around here. I can't. So tell everybody if they're not following you and stuff like that, where they should be following you and all that.
I mean, I'm most active on Instagram and Twitter, at Big Trouble BB. Very simple. Say hi. You know, I love interacting with people. If you want to make jokes too, I have a good sense of humor. So hey, no one makes fun of me more than I make fun of me. So I've heard everything. So you can say whatever you want. I go back and forth. I have a good time. We keep it as positive as we can. That's another one, a goal of mine. Staying out of the mud in 2025. No talking to the faceless profile pics or the troll. Well, no, there's some faceless profile pics that are very nice. So don't get me. If you don't want to put your identity out there, nothing wrong with that. Don't talk shit when you don't put your identity out there. Put a name to it.
You don't want to talk to user XY22 32 59.
Sasha Banks fan 25 with her picture on. Yeah. Like, and if you want to be that, cool, but be nice. Don't be a dick when you don't want to put your name to it. I'm putting my name to it, and hell, it might not be my real name, but you can go look that up. I'm a pretty open book. That's so scary because I have no privacy. Oh my god, I have nothing to hide, do I? Passwords are like password 1.
I can't. I'm dead.
Royally screwed.
I'm dead. All those links are in the description below. If you're a little lazy, I got you. Like you can click the links and everything like that, and go give him a follow. So this has been such a fun podcast. Like again, you're always welcome to come back on and chat with us.
I'm sure we will. I'm sure we can.
I appreciate.
We're gonna have all the participants of the 8-man. And woman, I guess, because we got Kathleen in it.
Remember how I said I need to run my own show? The Chokeslam Championship needs to be part of this match.
That's it. It's the new King of the Ring.
It's the Chokeslam Championship. It's some serious stuff, but there's been I have footage all over the place of people fighting. Even Alec Price had the belt one day, and he was like, "I don't want this belt, but I want it because everybody wants." He goes, "I don't throw a chokeslam."
Is he burying the chokeslam? My God, Al. He shouldn't. He does cool stuff. Let us have the chokeslam for Christ's sake.
He was like, "I'm gonna start doing a chokeslam now because I want the belt."
Oh, here we go.
So see, everybody wants the belt. They started throwing chokes. I'm telling you, I started craziness.
Oh, you gotta put it. He'll throw a fit. Put AJ Francis in it, please, because you're not gonna hear the end of it if you don't. Please just put him in it. Please.
Zach, add to the list, okay? We're just gonna make a list. That's the thing now. Zach takes photos, whatever. He actually shared it on this podcast. He reshared the link on social media of you chokeslamming. So you guys will see that. So you've been at it. But yeah, so again, thank you so much for coming on here and chatting us a little bit. So that was a lot of fun. Again, thank you guys all for all your questions. Pop it in here if you're listening to it later. Leave us some comments, leave a like, make sure you share the stream, all that fun stuff. Next week's a busy week. I have Brianna Bands and Jermaine Marbury coming on next week. So busy weeks on the Indie Wrestling Corner. So make sure you give us subscribe. So you guys know the drill. Stay safe. Support independent wrestling. I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a good night.